Conor McGregor, you gotta come back and fight somebody. I'll see you at the top.
Surprise, surprise, the king is back.
Welcome everybody to episode 5 of TUF Hang. You just finished watching episode 5 of The Ultimate Fighter 31, and Team Chandler, yes, is 5-0 in the competition. Technically, it's over. I mean, if you're just going by who wins the more fights, it's 5-0 now. There's only 3 fights remaining. Mathematically, Team Conor McGregor cannot catch up. But hopefully they can avoid a sweep, and we might get a glimpse of that next week. We'll see. But talking about this week's episode, Brad Katona defeating Carlos Vera via unanimous decision. Joining me is my esteemed co-host, wide-eyed and huge TUF fan now, Conner Burks.
Yes, die-hard TUF fan. Still tough. You know, gotta say it. Tough.
Gotta hang in there.
McGregor. 0-5. 0-5. But next week, the savior of the team, Lee Hammond, is up. I can't wait for next week.
We will see, GC. We will see. And also joining us, as always, producer extraordinaire, E. Casey Layton.
So the season's over. We're done, right?
I mean, technically, there's no reason to watch anymore. We know who won the season.
Let me roll the outro music, and we're good.
Yeah.
That was fun, guys. That was a good time.
We know Conor McGregor and Michael Chandler are definitely going to fight, so we're just waiting on that, that announcement. Yeah, so that's great. But yes, guys, let's start off talking about this week's fight. It kind of went as we expected. I think we saw it on paper and we're like, wow, this is interesting. We won't harp on the prospect versus veteran thing again. Brad Katona, 31 years old. Carlos Vera, 35 years old. Almost the same. I think they both turned pro in 2014. They have almost the same amount of fights. Katona, definitely a legitimate veteran, though. I mean, won the Ultimate Fighter, 27. Now he's one step closer, advancing past the quarterfinals to becoming maybe the first 2-time Ultimate Fighter winner. What a feather in his cap that would be. We've had 2-time finalists. He could become the first time winner, but we will see. GC, your thoughts on this week's fight?
Okay, so as we were approaching the fight during the buildup, first of all, we have to address it right off the top. No dogs in the fighter backgrounds. And I was really hoping when Vera was showing his apartment, kind of looked like he was living alone at the time. And he was just like, yeah, we got an XYZ. I thought he was going to be like, we, as in me and Daisy here, and it was going to show like a golden retriever, and we were going to be set from there. And then it set up perfectly for Katona to have a dog as well. When they were walking out in the beautiful Ireland nature, I was just like, all right, where's the dog? They got to be walking a dog here. No dog. So it was a fair fight from the go. I was just like, wow, this is going to be our most evenly matched fight. Then maybe I'm looking way, way, way too deep in this, and this is me just being a conspiracy theorist rather than just enjoying the show. They really highlighted Chandler was just like, we're going to win this, no doubt. I have zero doubt that Brad Katona is going to win. I mean, this is just a lock. There's no chance that he loses, and we're going to go for the sweep, and it's just that easy. And I was like, man, are they going to make him eat those words later with a loss? And then we get to fight day, and we still had about 20 minutes left on the episode. I was just like, are we finally going to get the coveted third round? Alas, we didn't. Good fight, one-sided decision. It was pretty clear. Katona won. I mean, he was getting the best of the grappling exchanges for the majority of both rounds. And yeah, Chandler, 5-0.
Yeah, GC, I thought you would have learned from last week when they had Dana White talking about which one was one of the fighters. Oh, Timur. So he's like, oh, Timur's wasting a lot of energy doing this thing, and we were like, oh, they're hinting, and then no, Timur just won. Timur just won the fight.
I have to say, it was when Dana was breaking down. It might have been Carlos Vera. I mean, his eyes were darting different ways. It felt like he didn't even know who he was really talking about.
Yeah, I mean, and there's a very good chance that that's the case. You mentioned the dog. I thought that Carlos was going to show a dog when he was like, I want to not only represent my family, and there was a pause, and I thought he was like, but I got to do this for my best friend, my precious dog, mi perro. Yes. And then I'm like, oh, this is over. This is over. He's going to choose the dog.
He was mixing in Spanish the whole episode. Yes. That's how we get it.
That's great. Yeah, surprised us. We did discuss at the end of last week's episode of TUF Hang, we did say you did a little digging back into social media, and he appears to, maybe a year ago or a couple of years ago, lost a dog, and it looks like he's lost a couple of dogs. So I think we won't factor that into this. I think ghost pets, they weren't. If we had mentioned them on the show, obviously we would mention it, but no, was not highlighted at all. So we can consider this inconclusive and not relevant to our fighters.
I don't know if we have the resources to do the research, but has Brad Katona ever owned a dog? If Brad Katona has never owned a dog, then I think the dog curse still stands.
I've interviewed Brad once or twice, and it never came up. So I regret not touching upon that with him. If only if I had the foresight to know he would be on the Ultimate Fighter again, and then it would be such a huge factor. Yeah, it was like an okay fight. Pretty, I guess it went as you expected. Casey, what did you think? Were you impressed by Katona's performance? Were you impressed by Carlos Vera's performance? I actually thought he fought pretty well.
I thought the most interesting part of the episode was actually the most boring part in a sense, because Katona, the TUF veteran, understands what the show is.
Yes.
He understands what the show is. And he was all like, and even when the coaching, he was like, I'm not going to learn a new technique in a week that I can use. And this is stupid. Let's just work on what I know. Let's watch some tape so I have some idea of what to expect. And then I will implement a game plan that will get the W and will keep me healthy so I can move along in the freaking tournament, because that is all that matters. No matter how you can put a 5-star match on, it can be the most exciting match ever. It doesn't matter as long as you get the W. This isn't PFL where they can just change, they can just rip up the rules and just
too soon.
Yeah, Dana's all like, you didn't put all your effort in there. You're out of the tournament. And how stupid is that? Like, actually, this fake reality show actually has a better rule set. But
PFL is an organization.
Yeah, but Katona understood the rules, and he's like, I just have to win 2 rounds and take no damage and do no damage to myself, like break my hands or anything. I learned, actually, I think the first fighter to really kind of be very public about this was Roy Nelson. When Roy Nelson was in the obviously the heavyweight season. Actually, his fights were all pretty boring up until the big finale, because big finale he could throw bombs, but he's like, I'm just gonna grapple because I don't want to break my hands, because you break your hands, you're out of the show. So that was my takeaway. The most boring part was actually the most interesting part, if that makes sense.
I actually didn't think it was that boring. I thought seeing
it wasn't boring. I mean, not boring in the sense that it wasn't a big knockout. He fought smart and stuff, but there's. Even Dana said that was Dana after when he talks about the fight. Dana was all like, "Well, it wasn't the most exciting fight, but he won." Of course,
yeah. He takes the dig like it's like a Dana White Contender Series. But I liked seeing the behind the scenes of like Chandler and his team like clearly knew that Brad was like a little bit like I guess stubborn on how he wanted to approach the fight, and like they're talking about it behind the scenes, and then actually getting to see them sort of butt heads like about watching tape and everything. And like Katona's like, well, I want to be there with you. Like, why would I just like listen to what you guys have to say? I want to watch it live in real time.
That was
cool
interesting.
To see them.
Yeah, that was all cool.
Cool to see them butt heads. He's definitely salty he didn't get drafted by Team McGregor. Like when the SPG guys pulled up, he's just like, what's up? How we doing? Holding the bus up and everything. I feel like he definitely wanted to be on Team McGregor.
Yeah, we got ourselves a relevant episode title again. Again, this was teased last week, so we knew it would be something like this. Episode 5, Conflict of Interest. There you go. Episode, yeah, you guys can see it there. Again, it didn't lead to. It was. You're right, guys. It was interesting. I don't want to poop on it too much because, but it did. It was. I feel like it was diffused pretty quickly. Again, maybe there's more they didn't show, but I thought it was actually like the selective editing was like they showed us all they had. Like, I wonder how much real drama there was. Like, the one time the guy's complaining on the bus, was that a regular thing, or was it just the one day? Were they joking around? It was edited to make it look pretty like they were pretty aggravated. But I do wonder. But Casey, you make a great point.
Was it real quick? Mm-hmm. Was it? So they set that up, and Roosevelt Roberts like, what the heck, man? Let's go. And then they show Katona. I wanted to see him get in the car, get in the van, and then
I'm telling you, nothing happened. I get the things.
Right. I was like, I wanted to get like, oh, where were you, Brad? And Brad's like, well, Roosevelt, I was talking to Conor. It was like, well, it's a reality show. They got
in the van and they were just like, what's up, Brad? Hey, man.
Yeah, it's a reality show where, I mean, we get the fight, but there's supposed to be drama, house drama, roommate drama. Oh. There's none of that. It set it up again for nothing. Yeah.
There was nothing to work with. I'm sorry.
I just had to complain about that.
No, but you make a great point. No, and for sure, because I wrote down title was relevant, but also kind of wasn't. Like, because there was, yes, literally there was a conflict of interest, but it didn't. I felt like it didn't lead to any real genuine conflict, other than the stuff you kind of touched upon. The other, so the notes I took for Brad, one of his quotes was, in all honesty, my allegiance lies with Brad Katona. And I wrote, pardon my language, I wrote, fucking A, Brad. Yes, that is how. Yeah, this is what it should be. The other things, yes, talking about the he doesn't want to do like too much live sparring. I wrote good. He's fraternizing with Team McGregor. Good. Those are his actual coaches. How can he just like? How is he supposed to just chum up with this new team when he's been with the other coaches for the last 6-7 years? I think he said it just doesn't make any sense.
And I don't see how Team McGregor, and he has to fight his own team in a couple of weeks.
Yes,
it's not like yeah. You know what I mean. It's not like they're not gonna have a long relationship. You know, it's
so silly.
Another thing that he said that I love because he lives in Ireland and trains in Ireland with Conor and everything is that he was like, yeah, I'd say that Vera's biggest strength is he knows himself. And like that's what the Irish guys are always saying. You know yourself. I got a pretty good kick out of that.
Vera, listen, his story was I didn't know that he trained with Ryan Hall. I didn't know he was a coach.
But they didn't show Ryan Hall, so I don't care.
No, they didn't. That was upsetting.
I don't care. I was so excited. I was like, oh my God, they're Ryan Hall's gym. And nope, Ryan Hall's like, you pay me to be on camera. I ain't showing up.
Yeah, Vera sounds almost exactly like Beneil Dariush, both in like his tone and his dialogue, his choice of words. He's very diplomatic. That reminded me of that. And my other note for Vera was the capoeira. Conor a little too enthusiastic about it. I think he was like too dazzled.
That's
like, you're. Well, I bring that. I will have to ask you about that later. But he's like, oh, you're a brown belt in capoeira. Like, use that. I'm like, Conor, I don't know if that's like something he wants to just start breaking out in what is probably the most important fight of his career so far. Like, that's like.
It did make me Google capoeira and like learn a little bit more about it. I was not incredibly familiar with it, so I thought that was kind of cool. But I did, I mean, it was funny the way McGregor was doing. Like, you got to use the movements. The more movements, the better.
Was there any capoeira in the fight?
No, and wisely not, because I don't think it would have helped him.
I don't know.
Some fighters in the UFC have utilized it. Alizu Zaleski, whose nickname is Capoeira. Michel Pereira, of course, he does breakdancing, bringing breakdance fighting in there. So it was cool to feature on the show. I'm glad they did. But I do think Vera, much like a lot of guys on Team McGregor, were kind of just giving McGregor the polite nod, like the yep.
Yeah,
okay. They don't seem dazzled.
Grab the pain and throw it out.
Grab the pain. They don't seem dazzled by his coaching. I'll be honest. They don't seem, which is good. They've probably been with him, like by the time this episode aired, they've probably been with him for at least a few weeks. Which does bring us, let's go to the what did McGregor do this week stuff. So we know for a fact, I think he's at least made multiple visits to the house. Like we've kind of questioned the filming schedule. He does seem to be making regular visits to the house. I don't know. What do you guys like? How are you guys feeling about that right now?
I pulled up to do a rowing machine, and I just have to say before you go, Casey.
Yeah.
When they showed Rico Disciulo,
I think it's Disciulo.
Disciulo. That was the first time I had ever seen that name on The Ultimate Fighter. It took 5 episodes, and I was just like, "Who is this? Who is this guy?" Like I have not seen this guy one time, and then he gets the spotlight for the rowing machine.
Wait, who is that?
He's the guy who won, I think. I think he won the rowing machine.
No. Aaron McKenzie won.
Oh, Aaron McKenzie. I didn't even know.
He interviewed Rico for a split second. He's just like, yeah, we got to do the rowing machine with McGregor. And I was like, who was that? Who was that guy? And I had to rewind it and rewatch it and be like, wow, 5 episodes in, first time I've seen that name.
The fighter's like Airbnb in a room, extra room, just a guy.
Casey, what were you going to say about that segment?
The absolutely pointlessness of it. It was just like the show opens hot. Like boom, Conor walks in. It's like, oh, I thought he's gonna like, guys, we gotta get this win. He's like, no, guys, Conor fast. You gotta check it out.
McGregor fast. Come on, have a little respect.
McGregor fast.
Yeah. Oh, McGregor fast. It was just freaking. It's like they opened up the show with a freaking commercial for his workout program, and I don't even know what it was. They just rode. And then Conor rode, and
they race on a 500-meter rowing.
But like we didn't. But like, I guess did we see times? Did they just go, "Cool, you won"? I don't even know.
Were you listening? 138 for Aaron McKenzie.
Oh, okay, sorry.
McGregor threw out like a 140, I think.
140. Is that the time or that's reps time? What is that? Time.
How long it takes you to do it? I got a rowing machine available to me. I've done the old 500 meters before. I can get in that like 145 range.
Yeah. Okay. Well, McGregor
for circuits.
Yeah, listen, if you're out there, please send GC a free.
Yeah, I'm looking at my
machine.
notes, and I just have in all caps, rowing, exciting. That's why.
Yeah, it really did feel pointless.
It was so pointless.
We're a long way from Tito Ortiz having to fight to get team punishment on his jersey. He had to fight to get team punishment on his jersey many moons ago. UFC would never allow this sort of advertising before. And now we've got McGregor. We've got Proper in the house. He's wearing the black what's the Black Forest in? What's his pub?
Black Forge in?
Black Forge, excuse me. Black Forge in on his hat.
It's right above me.
Oh, sorry. It's right there. Authentic. And he's got McGregor fast talking about it. So it just shows you how much times have changed and also how big a star McGregor still is. So the other McGregor action we did, we kind of every week we've been looking for a McGregor Chandler interaction. We kind of got it after this fight. McGregor once again complaining, not understanding the concept of the show. Why are fights 2 rounds? If the fight's in dispute, it should be 3 rounds again. I'm sure if it was the other way and his fighter had his hand raised, he wouldn't be saying anything. But yes, and he gets into it with Michael Chandler and says, Michael, have you ever fought a 5-round fight before? Have you ever fought a 5-round fight? Sure enough, Michael Chandler has gone the distance in a 5-round fight 4 times. Conor McGregor only done it once. Conor only done it once, the Nate Diaz rematch. They've both been scheduled for multiple 5-rounders that didn't go 5 rounds. But there we go, guys. Does that make you, again, we know how much the fight is in limbo now, but do you think they're doing a good job still of marketing this fight? Should it happen by some chance again, end of the year, early next year? What do you think of that segment?
We're already going early next year now. We've already given up on this year. We're already pushing it to 2024.
Yep.
I don't know. I don't think it needs any marketing. They just have to give us a fight date and everyone's going to tune in for it. I kind of like seeing McGregor that fired up about the 3 rounds. Like sometimes when a fight is like that, I wouldn't mind if they just win a 3rd round. Like it isn't.
Yeah, Conor was right. He's kind of correct.
I was going to ask you both.
Like this week and last week should have gone 3 rounds, even though this week was a little more dominant in the 2 rounds. But there's so much on the line. And we got time. Like, take out the rowing part. Take out
the rowing part. And it's not like Katona was like inflicting a ton of damage.
That's what I mean.
Like he was just pretty much grappling him for the 10 minutes.
And here's the thing. So I was good. That's good. One of the questions I was going to ask you guys was, does Conor McGregor have a point? Should they play with the format and make it 3 rounds?
Yes.
Now, again, I don't know if this is a commission thing too, because these are exhibition bouts, and also they had to fight multiple times in so many weeks. Is that another reason they make them 2 rounds? Also, I think the watchability, as we said, if it was a 15-minute fight, it would take up 80%
of the episode. Yeah.
But I think this is pre-taped. If it's a 15-minute fight, just show highlights of the first 2 rounds or so. I don't know how people would feel about this, and then just show the deciding round, like build up the drama that way. Because again, I'm not saying this was a boring fight. It certainly wasn't super exciting, but you could show clips from the first 10 minutes of this fight and get a pretty good idea of how the fight went. And they had. Go ahead, Conor.
I was just going to say, you could show like a 90-second highlight tape of those first 2 rounds, and you would get an idea and be like, all right, they're going to a deciding 3rd round.
Yeah, and they had done this before with the not with the fights actually in the house, I don't think, but they used to do like you had to fight your way into the house. And they had a whole like 2-hour episode, and they still didn't have enough time to show all the fights. So if a fight went to a decision, they would just show a sort of chopped up version of like, this is how this guy got into the house. He won a dominant decision. So you could do a mixture of that. Like I said, just chop up the first 2. Like again, especially this might be a perfect example. The first 2 rounds, and then you just have this one dramatic 5-minute round, knowing that it's win or go home. Yeah. So I get it.
You at least know that Vera has to get a finish.
He has to get the finish. Yeah,
there you go.
That's exciting.
Yes.
That's exciting. Because Katona's going to keep the same game plan, but now Vera's like, yeah, I gotta use my capoeira.
Yeah,
that would be amazing.
I gotta move more.
Conor just starts singing. Conor's like, play the music, get the boombox, play the music, play a song. And it's like, oh, the music has like possessed him, and then he like just takes out.
Speaking of the movement, speaking of the dancing of the music and everything, what was McGregor doing as they were making the walk to the octagon? Like he's like dancing and he's singing some sort of song, and then they bust through, and then like as the fight's about to start, he's like still singing like as we're into the first round. I'm like, what is he doing?
I don't know what that song is, but when I've seen people perform capoeira, they always sing that song. It's just a song they sing a lot. Yeah, right. Like I'm not sure what it is, but yeah, they just sing. I don't know what the song title is or what it is, but if you ever watch a group of Brazilians do capoeira, you're most likely they're kind of singing that song the whole time.
Oh, so that did sound
that would have been a little bit cooler if they
But that's something I know, and I think you have to be really, really in the bubble to know that. The fact that they just kind of put that out there for the general audience is extremely confusing, for sure.
We'll have to ask our guy, Guy Cruz. Guy Cruz, Guillermo, I'm sure might be familiar with it. Maybe he'll say the same thing though. It's just sort of a capoeira like hype up song. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm not sure it's capoeira. It might be just a Brazilian thing too that they just always do. I'm not honest, but I've seen it sung before. Yeah.
On that, then I want to ask you guys. I'll go to GC first. Casey, you've been in a fight, so you've been undefeated, as we all know, 10-7. GC, I'll ask you, if you were a fighter, what would you want? And you had someone at the sideline screaming a song loud enough for you to hear it. What song would you want being sung during your fight?
And it's just someone singing it.
And there's and like decently well, like not like amazingly well, not like a professional performance, but like good enough, melodically acceptable.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I would want it to be like something epic then, like instead of just like like this would be so much different than a walkout song. Like a walkout song, I want it to be like hard, get me hyped up, like a violent song to fit with what's about to happen. This, like, I don't know, Andrea Bocelli.
I was gonna say, would you want something with a build up so that you build up as the song builds up, and then by the time
make me feel like a gladiator.
Make
me feel like a gladiator as I'm walking out there. Like make it feel cool. Like if I'm going to be going into a fight, and Casey can obviously speak to this better. Like I want to feel as like in the zone, as badass as possible. Like you really got to be a different type of dude to be like a Tai Tuivasa. And you're like walking out to like girls just want to have fun and like you're just bouncing, high-fiving, like knowing someone is about to get knocked out and you just don't care whether it's you or the other guy. Like obviously you want to win, but you've accepted your fate one way or the other. Like you are just wired different. I would definitely be the guy that's like trying to get as locked in as possible. So yeah, give me something epic. Give me like a Gladiator, Andrea Bocelli, something like that.
Not something with a beat to it. Not something with a beat to it to get you moving. Like
what's
Conor
the
was.
Beat? What's the beat? If they're just singing, like, am I just gonna have Conor McGregor beatboxing for me and like dancing around? I don't want that. I don't want that. I would rather have an opera singer in like a suit preparing me for my death.
Let me go to Casey. I'll come back. Let's say it said it's playing from a boombox, so there's a beat to it. But let me go. So I'll give you a second to think about that. So you can change your answer. Casey, I'll come to you, and I'll go back to GC. What song? What song's playing, or someone singing, or playing whatever you prefer?
That song that they play when you play Super Mario World. That when you get to Bowser's Castle,
sinister.
That's what you're going with.
You know, yeah. I can't think of it, but right when you get to the castle and the little flaming fireballs start spinning and everything, and
this is so specific.
That very intense, 8-bit music, yeah. But
would you want the timer? Would you want it to be done with 8-bit? Do you want it with the timer? Do you want the timer winding down so this music's speeding up?
Yeah, okay, when I went to remember this is pre-Conor. Remember Metamoris, the jiu-jitsu show competition, AK?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When I went there live, when like guys were getting like near submissions, they had guys on not drummers, but those big kind of drums.
Whoa.
Boom, 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 boom. And like
Kumite.
They'll pick up the intensity inside the venue.
Oh my
God.
So
it would be something like that.
I like that.
Yeah, it was fun. It was
crazy.
At first I was like, this is kind of weird, but it was pretty cool. Remember when they tried to do it by putting that stupid heartbeat, but like
I didn't see that.
Yeah, their last show in Denver, in the background there was like a heartbeat playing. Like, boom, boom,
that's what that was, dude. I thought that was like the broadcast messing up. Like I was like, man, something's going on with the broadcast.
Production error.
They purposely added that heartbeat thing.
Yeah, they thought it'd be cool. No, yeah. Then I was like, what is that? Then like people in the arena are like, yeah, there's a freaking heartbeat playing. It's super annoying. That could be right. It was cool, but it stays the same. It's like if
the drum is cooler. Like if someone is like getting like they have like a rear naked choke locked up and they start really beating the drum.
Yeah, it was fun.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was cool. Neat. So that's what I want. But I would not want Conor McGregor singing me Cyndi Lauper songs from the sidelines.
This is the most important moment of my life, and like McGregor's just like having a go at it. Like
I would love it if
that would be so annoying. Honestly, like you're really into fighting, like you just like Hey, Conor, shut up.
He's outside the cage yelling at you.
I don't think it was helping Carlos Vera again, especially since he was like a Keurig. He has minus so many other things. I thought about this question for a while, so I would go with "Get Busy" by Sean Paul. I think if you put that song on, was this just a whole setup so you could say that? It was. Yeah. Well, I'm gonna go back to GC. I just want to say, if that song is on, my athletic prowess increases by like 100 times. Like I will dunk a basketball if that song comes on. You keep that beat going. I will fight anyone. I will fight Brock Lesnar if that song was on. It just gets me going. Listen,
walkout songs are different from actual songs that you are when you're fighting.
My walkout song would be "It's Raining Men" by the Weather Girls, and then they would start playing "Get Busy."
So you're
by
like
Sean
a
Paul.
Tai Tuivasa type. Like
I'm a Tai Tuivasa.
Cool,
I'm the original.
You're the original.
I'm like the hoodie up, like tightened down, like just like dead straight eyes, like I'm working through the crowd, like I'm here for business. If I have a boombox or a walkout song,
going back to you, GC, yes.
So like, grew up, hip hop has always been, rap has always been my favorite genre of music. Like I need like some go-to, but I also want the fans to know it, like the fans to recognize it. Personally, Get Rich or Die Trying, the 50 Cent album, has like 5 different walkout songs that you could walk out to. The legendary, like the all-time classic, and we're going to get to see it hopefully in a few weeks with Alejandro Pantoja, is Many Men. I mean, that's just like one of the greatest walkout songs. Another one that I don't know if anyone has ever used it, but I would love to use it, is Heat. That is also on Get Rich or Die Trying. And then there's just like quite a few other ones that you could do. If you just go through that album, I think it's like 21 or 20 songs. There's many walkout songs that could be had on that. All in all, I'm going with Heat. I feel like that's kind of different. It's not just like copy and pasting on Many Men, but Heat is very. I mean, if you listen to this song, it's quite a violent song.
What if there was let's take the boombox away again. It's just Conor doing bars from Heat.
Absolutely not. No, I mean one of the biggest parts of Heat is it's a gun cocking is used as
he's doing it like Michael Winslow. He does it. He goes like.
Get McGregor out of there, bring in Andrea Bocelli, and have him in some sort of ridiculous suit where like there's flutters coming out the front. He has a microphone, and like I feel like I'm going into like the gladiator fight. Like it's like I'm either going to die here or I'm going to kill my opponent. Those are the only 2 outcomes. And then I look down and I'm wearing my TUF jersey and I'm like,
I'm done.
You're not, listen, you're not getting Andrea Bocelli. Now you're just being unreasonable.
I can get Conor McGregor, but I can't get Andrea Bocelli.
He's already there in his suit. All right. He's already at the.
Let's use the boombox to play Andrea Bocelli then.
Fine. Except which Andrea Bocelli song? What's
the
that?
OG.
What's the, oh my gosh.
It's like No Time.
I'm so mad right now. It's my favorite song. Please. I'm so angry. I can't get this out of my head. The version with Sarah Brightman. Time to Say Goodbye.
Yes.
Is it the one Akiyama walks out to?
Correct.
Yes.
Conte Partiro. Thank God. Conte Partiro.
The words are so fitting. Time to say goodbye to my family, my friends, and potentially my life as I know it as I enter the octagon.
Imagine though, you get a knockout right when he hits one of those high notes. You just crack the guy. What a moment that would be. One last question I'll ask, guys, before just a little one. This is like almost like a yes or no. I like Brad Katona saying, if he wins again, should he be the ultimate fighter or the multimate fighter?
Ultimate fighter.
Oh, really, Casey?
I'll go ultimate. Ultimate sounds like he has a mullet. I feel like that's just. I feel like you're winning. I hear mullet.
Why are we putting the M on front? Why is it multi?
Multi.
Oh, okay, all right.
Right?
It changes nothing.
Right?
Ultimate fighter.
I was all in on ultimate.
Even cool. One thing I do have to say about Brad Katona is there anyone on this earth that has more contrasting looks than Brad Katona in an interview where you're just seeing him from chest up and he's wearing his glasses and he's talking and like he has sort of like a. He has like this. I know. Yeah, he has like a certain demeanor. Like he doesn't really talk like a fighter. Like he talks like he's almost like an engineer or something. Like he's very specific about his fighting ways. Him talking with the glasses on and everything versus him walking out jacked up like to the gills with no glasses on, like shirt off. Obviously, I was like, wow, Yeah, like that is like those are two different people. Like him talking about like the specifics of fighting, and then like him actually going out and fighting. Like it's two different people.
Yeah, his nickname is Superman, so he owns the whole Clark Kent Superman thing. He knows, he's very aware of how he comes off in interviews outside the cage. Yeah.
And that's what we missed out in this episode to me, because I've seen interviews of him once he, not on the show, but after he won, he was very kind of open about like his nerdiness, how he doesn't talk like a fighter at all. And that's kind of the part to me that made him unique and different. And I don't know. I wish we got a little more of that in the show. Even the fighters go like, man, Brad's freaking awesome. But if you met him on the street, you would never know. Like, he's just like one of those type guys. I don't know. Like, just tell us something we already know, I guess, in the sense that we confirm our suspicions, I guess.
And things that people who have not seen Brad Katona before, like a lot, theoretically, again, this is the most watched season. I mean, not by much. I've heard the ratings are declining every year, but every episode. But I think this is the most watched season in a while. So this is people, I imagine it's a lot of people who did not see Brad's first run on the show, did not see really pay that much close attention to his first run in the UFC. So people might be seeing him for the first time. You should highlight that stuff. I think that's
me. I'm not going to lie. Like, yeah, like I wasn't really like Brad Katona wasn't like a huge name fighter. And like when I was much more of a casual fan, like I wasn't really completely aware. Honestly, I have to say, like, I really have to admit it right now. The Superman nickname is perfect. Like it really is like the Clark Kent thing when he puts on the glasses. And it was cool to see like how serious he takes it, like how obsessed he is with the nutrition, the way that he trains, the way that he gets ready for fights. And then that guys in the house appreciating that, being like, it seems like your preparation is so much more matured and like you've had so much more experience, despite him only having like 14 pro fights.
And that is actually, what you said right there is the problem with the show, because the show wants to sell drama and craziness and fighters are wild and they're roommates now. And that's what it was for the first few seasons. But now the fighters are like, no, it's like, okay, cool. I got a quiet place. My kids aren't here. I can actually sleep fine. This is like, a lot of fighters are like, this is, yeah, well, I miss my family, but this is actually pretty chill. I just train and sleep, and I can literally be a full-time fighter when almost all these guys have day jobs at the same time. So this is actually pretty, in a weird way, relaxing. You know, it's just in terms of I can just concentrate on fighting, and for TV purposes, that is not good TV. You know,
poison. One more thing about Katona. Dana says, there's no doubt Katona deserves another chance. And I'm just like, you probably should just re-signed him. Well, I agree. There's no doubt he deserves another chance. Why is he having to go through this show?
One other point. I did not realize that Hunter Azer was the one that got him from the promotion.
And they didn't show him this episode.
Like, why was that not brought up? Like, I was like, Brad Katona's talking about how it's like the worst day of his life. He cried and he cried and he cried. And it's just like, actually the guy.
That guy right there. He ruined my dreams.
Katona's like, I didn't agree with the decision. Like, I thought the decision was BS. Like, I don't think that should have got me cut and everything. It's just like, I have Hunter be like, yeah, I beat his ass. Like, yeah, I won that fight.
And this is why I wish they would talk about it, because thank you for bringing that up, actually, because I recognize that I didn't kind of put it together. When he said, it's like, well, we're all going to fight each other. He didn't say that straight up, but like, they're not on the teams. They're just on teams temporarily. Because like, I'm on the same team with the guy right there that I don't think I lost to, and he kind of ruined my dreams, and I'm supposed to be teammates with him.
Like he said word for word, he was just like, my life got completely flipped upside down. Like I lost my identity by like, and there's the dude that caused it, and we just didn't even highlight that, have any sort of altercation.
We saw rowing. We saw lots of rowing.
We saw rowing, and we saw Lee Heyman being like, "When did you start at SBG?"
Yeah,
it's just like, how did you guys not know that before?
Aren't you friends?
Each other.
That was so. Listen, in fairness, I assume Lee is. I mean, I guess he's been with the team for a while, but he is relatively young. Maybe he's just.
Lee's the savior. Lee's the savior for Team Blue.
Let's talk about it next week. Next week could be a big week.
We get the shove, baby!
I wrote the shove, all caps, and so many exclamation points. I don't even know.
I mean, look at how this is how excited I am.
Please show me.
It's just absolute.
Next week.
Shove next week.
Holy fuck.
Mm-hmm. I couldn't write it fast enough. I mean, it was the best part of the episode. I mean, next week is everything for me. Next week is everything. Lee Hammond's going to get the dub. We're out of the basement. Team McGregor, first win. And then we get the shove. And that's when everything just blows up. And then they're going to finish the episode. They're going to announce the date of the fight too. That's how I am.
Wow. Oh, geez. Okay. Yeah. You know what? This is good though. I want us to be more positive this week. I feel like episode 4, we kind of got a little bit down on the show. We kind of got a little bit down on what we were seeing. But this week, I feel like we're back. I feel like we liked Brad Katona. Carlos Vera fought okay. We know we're getting the shove next week. Lee Hammond, 27 years old, 5-0, legitimate prospect against the oldest man in the house, Kurt Hollabaugh, 19 and 7.
Probably, and of all the vets, I would say the least worthy of coming back straight up in the UFC.
Least expected.
Yeah. I mean, if he wins the show. Yeah, he gets it. But like, of all of them, I was like, oh yeah, Timur should be back in the UFC. Brad should be back in the UFC. Kurt Hollabaugh, was like, oh, how's he doing?
Yeah.
I like the way you guys are hyping this up.
Yeah, this matchup. Wait, real quick. Over under. How many times are they going to show the replay of the push?
Oh man, I hope they do a slow motion breakdown. I hope they pull the telestrator out for Dana White and he gets to break it down as well.
I need the phantom cam. I think we're
going to see at least 10 times. 10 times you're going to see some sort of variation of the push from every angle, slow mo. Yeah, 10 times.
100%. That's going to be huge.
Just this episode or throughout the rest of the season?
Just that episode.
Oh wow. Okay.
Next week is absolutely monumental. To bring back down the vibes a touch, a little too much positivity there. I have to say, yesterday was kind of a marathon day for the old MMA hour. Got home, had a hard time watching old, pulling up the remote, getting it over to old ESPN. This was the hardest one, but next week it all is forgiven. I'm going to be rushing to my TV to watch next week.
And listen, this is, like we said, big week. We got the shove. McGregor. There's really no such thing as a must win on the Ultimate Fighter for the coaches. Obviously, every fight is a must win for the fighters. Because otherwise, it's Connor's number 1 ranked lightweight, Jason Knight versus Landon Quinones, which a ridiculous gap in experience, 30 fights to 8. And then his number 1 bantamweight, Hunter Azure, faces Rico DeShulo, the second oldest fighter in the house behind
Rico DeShulo. Rico DeShulo is going to get the snake draft of attention. He's about to become like the biggest star after not hearing from him for 5 whole episodes. Last thing I have to say, I also can't wait to see what the episode title is going to be. I mean, it's got to be something good.
Last hope. The last hope.
Some sort of pun with like one last push. Something like that for Team McGregor.
If it's called Last Hope, that's pretty grim for the 2 remaining McGregor fighters.
Yeah, Kurt Hollabaugh, like he works at an animal shelter, so there's like 40 dogs on screen.
Yes. Now we're talking.
I'm just saying, this is 27 pro fights versus 5. And I get it. Age is a factor for sure. There's Lee Hammond. All I hear is good things. Blue Chipper is supposed to be the next guy at SBG.
Lee Hammond's got 5 fights total?
He had 5 pro bouts. I should say he probably has amateur fights. So
that's what the show's supposed to be: a guy with 30 fights against a guy with like 4 or 5 fights.
No, it's supposed to be a guy with 5 fights versus another guy with like 8 fights. It's just ridiculous.
I'm going to call it now. We get a banger of a fight. It goes 3 rounds, and we get a finish in the 3rd round.
All right. I will say, by the way, Lee Hammond, extensive amateur career. Extensive. I'm sure everyone watching
real ones. The streets will not forget Bellator 275 when he cashed as a -900 favorite.
That's right. You know what? You've been with Lee Hammond before. TUF. Ride it all the way, GC. But yes, highly anticipated. Listen, we're going to hit the halfway point of the season. Next season, 12 episodes total. This episode is going to rejuvenate us, push us over that hill, and we're just going to roll all the way down to the finale.
When did these coaches challenge happen? All I ever heard about
it'll be probably one of the later episodes, probably after the first round is finished. So like episode 9 or 10. But yes, we're all looking forward to that. And thank you guys. Listen, thank you everyone for tuning into Tough Hang every week. We got a lot more episodes to go, a lot more season to go. Thank you, GC. Thank you, EKC Leiden. I am one of your co-hosts, Alexander K. Lee, saying hang tough in there, guys, and we'll see you again.